Welcome back. So it's another episode of the Tamara Tamil Collective where dreams have no filter. I think I'm getting the hang of this new camera angle. I don't know, we'll play around with this and see what happens. But in this video, today we're going to talk about some reasons why being in a challenging situation, being in the dark, can feel lonely, even when you have people around you. It can still feel lonely. You can still feel lonely. You can even be surrounded with people that care about you, people that you know, people that love you. I'm not talking about being surrounded by strangers. I'm talking about being around people that you know, experiencing the dark or experiencing transformational fire. It can still feel lonely with all of those people around. Number one, if you don't take anything else from this video, take this. Observe the loneliness. Don't judge it. Don't label it. Don't make it mean something. Don't give it a meaning because you feel uncomfortable with it. Just let it be there. Observe it. When you observe it, you're not identifying with it. You're just simply saying, I recognize that I have all these people around me. I even have people who may call me or send me a text message. But I'm recognizing that there are feelings of loneliness that are here now. You're just recognizing it. See, there was no judgment in that. There wasn't even judgment for the people around you. So when you're observing the loneliness, you're not saying, okay, well, why am I feeling lonely and all these people are around me? There's either something wrong with me or something wrong with the people around me. Don't do that. Just observe. Don't let your ego send you down that loop in that rabbit hole so that you start to identify with the loneliness, okay? And you make it give it a meaning that is not there. So let's get into just some more details of this. So, of course, I have notes. Your elevation during a challenging situation through the dark, it involves transformation. It involves elevation, all right? Your elevation just automatically comes with revelations. Revelations definitely about you, revelations about your life. You will receive new visions. You will feel a call to fulfill another purpose. You will feel a pull to step into a certain calling or step into an identity. All of that goes together, all right? Sometimes in those moments, in those days, those challenging days, you will, things will happen, in the physical. You'll experience things that, quite frankly, suck. Okay? You have a knowing that cannot be put into words. You can't even explain it to yourself, let alone other people. You have this knowing that cannot be put into words about what is manifesting for you. You have received a revelation that, yes, the senses are showing me all of this, but I know what I've been shown. I know the signs that I've been given. I know which signs you don't need to have a knowing, but that's another video. But anyway, you have this knowing that what is manifesting for you is for sure, okay? And you have experienced movement in that manifestation, all right? Like I said, you cannot explain that to other people. You can't even explain it to yourself. You just know. And oftentimes that sometimes it can feel like a tug of war when people are seeing you in this challenging situation and they're curious because they want to know, well, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do next? And you really have no words. They may take it to mean you don't want to explain, but you really have no words. You just have a knowing. And if you say, well, I have no words to give you, I just have a knowing, they may or may not understand that, but that's not your business either. That's not something for you to focus on. It's not something for you to make them understand, whatever. So, also, what I want to say is this. Another reason, often, many times, when you're in the dark and you're experiencing this beautiful transformation, this shedding, this taking on, this embracing of a new identity, the loneliness that you can feel in the dark is because, again, you're being elevated, you're being expanded beyond the identity that you have been operating from because you have invited that change in because you know there's something more. As you start to embrace that new identity, the people around you will see the change. And because this is new to them as well, they will feel uncomfortable with it, which can, present difficulty in you sharing your revelations with them. And let me get back to that. During this elevation, this time when you are feeling lonely, you may be receiving esoteric wisdom from your elevated guides, from your elevated ancestors. You know that something within you, magic within you, ancient history within you is being awakened. Is being awakened because it's attached to that elevated identity that's waiting for you to embrace. Even in this video that I'm doing now, that's very esoteric, you cannot right now tangibly, you can't physically touch that. I would even, just with what I said, I would even contradict myself in that, because when you are allowing these revelations to come through you, when you are allowing this ancient wisdom within you that you carry from your elevated ancestors and your elevated guides to work the change within you, you will see it on the outside. You will see it on this 3D, on this plane. So you, in a sense, will be able to touch it, okay? So I just wanted to say that. But, okay, so the loneliness is there in the dark because you're being elevated. You're being expanded beyond the identity that you have been operating from. You may be called and guided to tap, like I said, just tap into ancient wisdom that perhaps long ago, perhaps years ago, you felt a special affinity toward that. For example, you may have felt an affinity towards studying more about the ancient Egyptian practices. But maybe because of how you grew up, you perhaps were given one idea one dogmatic idea, and that was just it, as far as, and yes, I'm getting into religion and spiritual practices, as far as, religion and spiritual practices are concerned. So you got away from it. Well, now you're in this dark period of elevation and creation and transformation. You once again feel that affinity toward making that study, toward making that transition. And because you've allowed yourself to gravitate toward it, you're seeing visions, you're getting messages, your heart-mind connection is in perfect harmony again, and you're being called to try on new spiritual practices. Perhaps you are being called to even leave that religion, or leave completely a spiritual practice that you had, and now you are wanting to try something else on. Perhaps you're feeling guided, and these are examples, you guys. Perhaps you're being guided to infuse the messages that you're receiving, to infuse those messages into your daily life, to enchant your daily life, to infuse it in your business, in your marketing, in your emails, in your copy, in how you design, whatever your business is. You may be feeling a call and a purpose to do that. So this moment, and people around you may not understand that. So those are some of the reasons why you can be surrounded with people that love you, but yet still feel lonely while you're going through the dark, while you're going through a challenging situation. So what can we do? What can we do? Like I said earlier, if you don't take anything else away from this video, I want you to know this. I'm going to say it again. Look at the loneliness for what it is. It is a feeling. It is not your identity. You observe it. Don't label it. Don't judge it. So here's what you can do. You can become the alchemist. What do I mean by that? By infusing that loneliness with grace. By infusing it with love. Grace and love. That's how you alchemize it. So that that energy from the loneliness can be used for your good, can be used so that your ears can be opened even more, so that your eyes can be opened even more to receive more revelations of your true identity, to receive more revelations about your magic, to receive more revelations about your blueprint, so that you can continue to connect with your unseen support, with your unseen spirit system, with your unseen elevated guides, elevated ancestors, elevated angels, whatever you want to talk or whatever you want to call them. Because this challenging situation, it then becomes a spiritual transformation, which, and I said this before, which in turn manifests as physical transformation, all right, in this body on this 3D plane. So why do we want to be the alchemist? Why do we want to transmute this loneliness? It's so that as you elevate, you don't want the loneliness to become lodged in your body as a low-level vibration, which can turn into mutated ideas that can look like this. So I'm going to give you 3 examples. No one supports me. No one wants to help me. I must do everything alone. How many people have said that? How many times have you said that? How many times have I said that? All right. But that's what happens if we try to, if we look at the loneliness and we identify with it, we judge it, we label ourselves, it just becomes this thing that we wallow in instead of alchemizing it. That's what can happen. So this is why it's important to not ignore the loneliness that's there, because to recognize it is to alchemize it. So I know that this helped you. If you have any questions for me, please leave it in the comments. Also, let me know what your takeaways are from this video and what points that you can use to integrate into your life. So remember, elevation, you're being elevated. Transformation, you're being transformed. Allow it to be, allow it to happen. All right. So until next time, cheers.